How's it going, everybody? A dark horse in the arm wrestling community attacks Milo Larratt. Nobody believes in Corey West's chances against Devin Larratt, and Neil Pickup unlocks Brian Shaw's arm wrestling potential. We'll get to all that and more in today's video. So let's start off with Vampire Kirill calling out Milo Larratt for being a spoiled Canadian bully. Now for you, this is probably the least interesting topic of this entire video, so if you want to skip to other parts of the video, I will have chapters in the description, or you can just take your mouse and hover over the play bar at the bottom of the video, and it will show the topics that I talk about throughout the video, so feel free to skip around. So you may not know who Vampire Kirill is, and I did not know about this guy until very recently, and the only reason I know about him is because Milo responded to his challenge to do 10 fingertip push-ups to prove that he is not a spoiled Canadian. If you want to see how this entire saga kind of played out, I would very much encourage you to go and watch the videos that Vampire Kirill has done on his channel. He's been complaining about the Larratts for a while now. He's just a based Bulgarian calling out these cringe Canadians for their soy upbringing. So anyways, he challenged Milo Larratt to do 10 fingertip push-ups. Milo then responded with a video of him doing the 10 fingertip push-ups. By the way, terrible form. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I've got a picture on screen right now of Milo's right hand nearing the end of his set, and it looks a lot to me like the right side of his hand, or the outside of his hand where his pinky is, may have been touching the ground, which of course would invalidate this set. So I would encourage all of you to choose a side in this feud. I, for one, am on the side of the based Bulgarian, and I think it's time we start calling these guys out. If you want to be a real man, go to Vampire Kirill's channel. This man is immune to microwave weapons. He gives himself brain damage. He self-inflicts CTE. And that may sound bad, that may sound unhealthy, but I guarantee you he is not spoiled. Alright, let's move on to some less important topics. So East vs. West has some really big announcements regarding the future of their platform, and if you haven't heard yet, they have created an application that is available in the App Store for iOS and Android. I made the mistake of searching for East vs. West arm wrestling and nothing shows up. You just have to type in EVW Sports and then it should show up. And once you download the app, it's going to give you a login prompt as soon as you boot it up. I believe you have to first go to the official East vs. West arm wrestling website, create your account there, and then you can log in on the app. It's a little bit weird, and Dexter Tan kind of explained why they had to do it that way. I don't really get it, but that's just how it is. Apparently it has to do with the Play Store taking a certain amount of profits. So anyways, just make your account on the official website and you should be good. Also, some other things they've changed about the actual live events moving forward are the cameras and the lighting. So I'm sure you guys remember in Tbilisi, one of the big issues was the lighting. It seemed like everything was lit properly except for the actual table where the action was happening. And so moving forward, they've said that they will fix this issue and the lighting shouldn't be a problem anymore. But the more exciting thing is the cameras. So as you guys know, they've always got multiple cameras filming, but in the live stream, you are going to see the angles that they choose for you. And this is how it is with basically any live sport. But they are going to switch it up and they are going to allow you to choose the camera angle that you want to watch. So if you want to watch from the point of view of the cameraman standing behind the table for the entire event, you can do that. If you want to watch the front facing camera for the entire event, you can do that as well. Or you can just stick to the mainstream where they will choose the different camera angles throughout the event. It's all up to you, and I think this is super cool. It's a really good change. I know it definitely irritates me when the match is about to start and right as it starts they switch camera angles and you kind of miss the go. Super annoying. With this new system, that should be eliminated. Also, they're adding 4 extra cameras specifically for the refs, and I believe they will be located at the pin pad level, so there won't be any more guesswork when it comes to calling pins or calling elbow fouls. They've got cameras right there looking at the pin pad, looking at hopefully the elbow pads as well, and they will no longer have to account for the angle of the camera anymore when trying to determine whether something was a pin or not. Alright, let's move on. So recently Brian Shaw uploaded a video where he is training with Neil Pickup. I've been waiting for this video for a few days now. As soon as Brian uploaded his interview with Neil, I was super excited to see what they had done together, and I gotta say, I really like the style of training that Neil Pickup brings to the table. So in pretty much any sport, you get better by doing drills. And I never really thought about this in regards to arm wrestling, because you go to arm wrestling clubs and generally nobody is doing drills. You're just either lifting weights in an arm wrestling specific way, or you're just on the table actually arm wrestling. And the closest thing that you'll ever really get to a drill is when you're practicing ready goes. But it's not very often that you actually drill the micro movements that you're performing during the ready go. And in this video, Neil basically did that. Before he would allow Brian to apply any pressure, he would just go through the movement over and over and over while getting a rhythm into his head. And so when it came time to actually apply that pressure, he just had that movement drilled into his head over and over again. This actually inspired me to implement some more drill training into my own training, because I don't really do that, and I think it would be really helpful. Watching this video, I thought Brian looked much better than he's looked in the past, because in the past when I've seen him arm wrestle, his arm tends to open up and it kind of leaves him in a bad position. And one thing Neil really emphasized was staying tight, standing tall, and climbing and regripping to really maintain that high spot, which Brian really should do. He's got massive hands, he's got long levers, he is just built to crack wrists. So if you haven't watched this video, I would encourage you to watch it. It was very entertaining and very informative. I think this is exactly what Brian Shaw needs, and this gave me a lot of hope for his future. Seeing him arm wrestle in that open position really kind of dampened my excitement in the past, but now that he's keeping it tight, keeping it tall, I think we could really see a new level come out of Brian Shaw moving forward. So anyways, let's move on. So the last thing I've got to talk about today is the podcast that Engen did with Michael Todd, Corey West, Devin Larratt, and Robert Baxter. So in this podcast, they were obviously talking about the upcoming match between Corey West and Devin Larratt for the #1 spot on the left arm in North America. And I think most people, including myself, think that Devin is a heavy favorite moving into this match. And this podcast did not do anything to sway my opinion. Even Michael Todd, who is on Corey West's side, did not look very confident. At one point, even Robert Baxter tried to go to bat for Corey West, and he just did not sound very confident. It kind of seems like the only argument in favor of Corey West winning the match is that he's stronger. Pretty much everything else goes to Devin. And I'm not even convinced that Corey is stronger than Devin, but that is the prevailing argument in the corner of those who are rooting for Corey West. Corey is not overly technical, he's not very fast, and because he's not very technical, he doesn't really have the ability to adapt throughout the match. If he doesn't get that one lane that he needs, the match is kind of over. And so I don't really see a great argument for Corey West, and this podcast did nothing to change that for me. I don't think the trash talk is really going to get to Corey at all. He seems like a very laid back dude, and I don't think he really cares about it, but being a little bit stronger than Devin is not going to win him this match. I think Devin is way faster, way more technical, and has a way better ability to adapt than Corey West, so I have to give it to him. I think there's a chance that Corey pins him once, maybe, but I would be very surprised if this match was close. Okay, so before I finish up this video, I just saw pictures online of Brian Shaw training with Todd Hutchings, so that's pretty cool. I hope he doesn't get too confused with having so many different teachers, but yeah, I'm sure we'll get a video of that soon, so stay tuned for that. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a wonderful day. Bye.